Get and transform is an amazingly powerful tool in Microsoft Excel, which allows you to get data and then transform it. So it allows you to massage and work with data and to get it into the format that you need it to be in so that you can do the work that you need to do. And the impulse for me to make this video and the next couple of videos, because we're going to do a series of videos here where you learn about Get and Transform, and you're going to be able to download all of the files that you see me use in these videos so that you can practice it yourself. But the reason that the impulse for me to create this video and these videos about Get and Transform arose was because I hit a challenge at work and I had to get a table of contents from a word processing document into an Excel spreadsheet. And then I had to separate the table of contents into different parts and put it in different columns. And there was no other tool in Microsoft Excel that could do this other than Get and Transform. So in this video and the next couple of videos, we're going to learn about how to use Get and Transform. So here I am in Microsoft Excel, and I have a column of data. It's a bunch of names, and I want to split these names apart so that ultimately they look like this, where I have the title in the first column, then first name, last name, and their credential. And all these names, by the way, they were generated with this random name generator. And so every time I recalculate this sheet, you'll notice here on the formulas ribbon, we have calculate now. We also have calculate sheet, and the shortcut for that is Shift F9. So every time I press Shift F9, these names are going to regenerate. And so if you want to see the spreadsheet and see how these random name generators were built, you could download the spreadsheet from the description of this video down below. And in a future video, I'll show you how I built this. But in this video, we're going to take a look at how do we split this data apart. Well, one of the first things you might think about is to highlight all the data and then to go up to the data ribbon, and then over in the data ribbon, go to text to columns. But if you go through this approach, you're not going to be able to get that data all split apart where it looks like that. And indeed, to get this solution that we have right there, we have to go into Get and Transform. So to get into Get and Transform, again, under the data ribbon, we have this area right here called Get and Transform Data. So that's the Get and Transform Data area. We're going to get some data and we're going to transform it. So the first thing you want to do is you want to click into your data, and then you want to go over here and click From Table and Range right there. And so it's going to convert your table, your data, your range into a table. And you can see it's highlighted all of my data there, so you can just visually check that, yeah, that's the data I want to work with. And then you can just click OK, and it's going to launch you into Power Query. So Get and Transform brings you into something called Power Query Editor. So sometimes you'll hear people talk about this as Get and Transform, and sometimes you'll hear people talk about this as the Power Query Editor, tomato, kind of the same thing. So once I'm in here, I have all my data. Now I can start to transform it. You've got a transform ribbon up here. So the first thing I want to do is I want to split this data, and I'm going to split by delimiter. And notice we have a lot more options here by how we could split. And you could pause the video right now and just look at them. But we have a lot more options about how we could split our data. But I'm going to choose to split by delimiter. So I'm going to click on that. And when split by delimiter comes up, I can now say, hey, I want to split by a space. But I also have these other options here. And you don't have this in the text to columns options that we looked at, when we were back in Excel. And I could split on each occurrence of the delimiter, or I could just split on the rightmost delimiter. So if I split on the rightmost delimiter, and actually if I split not on a comma, not on a space, but on a comma, it's going to pull off all of their credentials. So I'm going to change this to a comma, and I'm going to split on the rightmost delimiter, and I'm going to click OK. And now I have all of their credentials. Yay! I love it. And now I'm going to split by column, and I'm going to go by delimiter again. And this time I'm going to do a space. I'm going to do the rightmost space, and this is going to give me all of their last names. Yay! I love it. And now I have a challenge, right? And because the challenge is I have some first names in this column, and then I have some first names along with their title. And so to do this, you kind of have to start to get familiar with the different workarounds and the different ways to use Excel. And you could explore through here, as I've done plenty of times in the past, to see if there's some way to kind of make this split apart easily in the Power Query Editor of Get and Transform. There's the verbiage. But the easiest way that I've found to do it is to go back to Home and then choose something called Close and Load. And Close and Load takes it out of Query Editor, the Power Query Editor, and puts it back in Excel. So we're going to choose to close and load. And then that data that we were just working with in the Power Query Editor is now in Excel. So now I'm going to take this data, I'm going to copy it, Control C. I'm going to launch a new tab, Control nothing. I'm just going to click that plus. And now I'm going to paste this as values, right? So I'm just going to paste that data in there. And so now I have this data. And I'm going to add a few columns here so I can work with that first column. So I'm just going to insert some columns right there. And now right here, I'm gonna go up to the data ribbon and I'm gonna use text to columns on this, and I'm gonna click next. And when I look at my data here, if I split on a space, I think I'll separate the first name from their title, and that's my hypothesis, and so I'm gonna click finish, right? And there we got some first names out, and there's the title over here. So now I'm gonna select all my data, right? This is the workaround. I know this could seem like a lot, but you could pause this video and you could re-watch it. But these are the things that you could do in Excel to start to work with and massage data. And this is like how you could start to bring together these different tools to massage the data. So with all that highlighted, I'm gonna go up to sort. I'm gonna sort my data, and my data does not have headers, so I don't need to check that. But here I'm gonna sort by column B. I'm gonna go Z to A, right? From the values down to nothing. And so that brought all of these names up here. All of these names have titles. And now to get these names over next to those, I just select them and drag them over. Easy peasy, nifty difty, that's the way you do it. So I'm gonna right click those columns now and then delete them, select them and delete them. And now I've got my solution. I have all of my names with the title, the first name, the last name, and the credentials right there. In the next video that I make for this YouTube channel, I'm going to show you another example of using Get and Transform in the Power Query editor. It's going to be a great example, so if you want to see that, make sure you hit that subscribe button, then toggle that little bell so that you'll be notified when that video comes out. See you in future videos.